everybody, it's Michelle and welcome back to the Royal Daily Tea. We have a lot of juicy royal tea to get through today, so you know what to do. Sit back and relax, grab yourself a beverage, and let's get into the Royal Daily Tea. King Charles has made a very passionate speech at the COP28 talks in Dubai. He is standing up for the environment on behalf of future generations, including his grandchildren. The king made an impassioned speech to world leaders, saying now is the time for action, not just words. Speaking at the opening of the 28th United Nations Climate Change Conference, he said in 2050, our grandchildren won't be asking what we said. They will be living with the consequences of what we did or didn't do. He called the climate talks an unmissable opportunity to keep our common hope alive. I can only urge you to meet it with ambition, imagination, and a true sense of the emergency we face, and together with a commitment to the practical action upon which our shared future depends. So as we know, King Charles has been a major proponent and campaigner of the environment for many, many decades. He warned of what he calls the existential threats facing us over global warming, climate change, and biodiversity loss. The monarch said that his travels across the world and the Commonwealth, he has witnessed countless communities which are unable to withstand repeated shocks, whose lives and livelihoods are laid waste by climate change, from severe climate events in places from Bangladesh, where there have been catastrophic floods, to East Africa and its decades-long drought. Surely, real action is required to stem the growing toll of its most valuable victims. King Charles began his speech by referencing to the fact that 8 years ago, he had been most touched to be asked to speak at the opening of COP21. Those talks culminated in the Paris Agreement, which he said brought hope and optimism when nations put differences to one side for the common good. So what do you guys think of King Charles's speech at COP28? I actually listened to it, and it was a very good speech. I do think that King Charles is doing great work in the climate change battle. So it looks like Harry and Meghan are starting to face some of the consequences of being associated with Omid Scobie and the book Endgame. Apparently, they have now been disinvited and banned from the Royal Societal Wedding of 2024. Harry and Meghan have been excluded from the Duke of Westminster's wedding in a huge blow to the couple. Now, the Duke of Westminster, Hugh Grosvenor, 32, and his lovely fiance, Olivia Hensen, are getting married on the 7th of June at Chester Cathedral. Now, the Duke of Westminster has been a lifelong friend of both Harry and Prince William. He is also worth about $10 billion. Yes, billion with a B. He is the third richest man at the age of 32 in the UK. He's the one that little Megsy should have batted her little eyelashes at, because he is witch. He witch, y'all. Instead, she ended up with that broke-ass little ginger who's high as hell, known as Little Prince Harry. But this is the man she really should have went after. He's got real money. But apparently she lost out. So he has been a lifelong friend of the entire royal family, as he is a duke, and he is apparently the godfather of not only Prince George, but also Prince Archie. So you know this snub has gotta hurt that they didn't make the cut of the guest list. Now, according to sources, they left the Sussexes off because they didn't want to cause a huge fight in the House of Windsor. They didn't want a lot of negative attention because the entire royal family is going to be in attendance, and if they had Harry and Meghan there, it was going to be a big scandal. Now, a spokesperson for the Duke of Westminster said they're not going to comment on the guest list, but come on, guys, we all know the reason they're not being invited. So what do you guys think about Harry and Meghan being disinvited from the Royal Society wedding of 2024? Again, they only have themselves to blame, in my opinion. But let me know what you think about this huge royal snub. Leave me your comments, guys, down below. So the Dutch translator for Omid Scobie's book Endgame has broken her silence on the author's claim that he never included the names of the alleged royal family members who had those unconscious bias conversations in regards to Archie's skin tone. Now, the translator by the name of Saskia Peters said she did not add the names to the Dutch version of the book Endgame. Speaking to the Mail, Peters said, "As a translator, I translate what is in front of me. The names of the royals were there in black and white. I did not add them. I just did what I was paid to do, and that was translate the book from English to Dutch." Now, Peters' claims appear to contradict what Scooby-Doo told Craig Doyle and Allison Hammond on the morning show. He said he never included those names in the English version of his manuscript when he gave it to his publisher. He says, "I never submitted a book that had those names in it. It is still being investigated. I wrote and edited the English version of the book with one publisher." But we all know this translator is not just going to make up names and put it in the book. Now, I feel really bad for this woman. She's very upset about the controversy this whole thing has started. And I feel like the publisher and Omid Scobie are throwing this poor woman under the bus. Now, let's be real here. We all know this was a major publicity stunt done by Omid Scobie's team. And I do find it a little bit suspicious that they made sure it was in a book like the Netherlands, where it's out of the legal jurisdiction and away from the UK libel laws. Just a way for him to get that information out without being liable. He's simply blaming an error and lost in translation. But this poor woman, her career could be damaged. I really do feel bad for her. Omid Scobie is a snake, in my opinion. Now, here's another part to that story. Omid Scobie has gone on record on several occasions saying how he was extremely frustrated with Harry and Meghan when they came out with those allegations on the Oprah Winfrey Show, but never named the supposed royal racist. He wanted them to come out with it and say, who are the people? Name the people. But Harry and Meghan refused to do so. Instead, they just let it sit there for 2 years so people can play the guessing game. Oh, how sweet of Harry and Meghan. So in my opinion, was this a way for Omid Scobie to force the hand of Harry and Meghan by naming them in a book in a different country so he can get away from the libel laws, claim it was an accident, but at the same time name the royal family members, right? So this way he can say, "Wasn't me, I didn't do it, I don't know what you're talking about." He also has not apologized. He's not apologizing. He doesn't care about the mistake. So that tells me right there, this was done 100% on purpose. And I really hope that translator sues the pants off Omid Scobie for what he's trying to do to this poor woman. He is trying to pin it on her as a mistake, when we all know he purposely did it. So it seems that the silence of these Sussexes is definitely deafening. And does that mean their silence means they are complicit in regards to the attacks on the royal family from the book Endgame by Omid Scooby-Doo? Now, Omid has come on record and he has denied that Harry and Meghan and them are not friends, and they definitely did not supply information to Omid Scobie for the book. He has literally admitted he's gotten some of his sources from TikTok, That makes me wonder who it could be. And also friends of these Sussexes and people who are in their outer orbit. Now, who could that possibly be? Now, there is a rumor that Omid Scobie and Meghan Markle's Soho bestie, Marcus Anderson, used to have a romantic relationship. Now, we don't know if they actually dated, if they were in a real relationship, or if they were just playing a game of hide the salami. We don't know. But we do know they know each other pretty well. You know what I'm saying? So how exactly did Omid get all of this insider information? I believe Meghan Markle gave it to Marcus Anderson to give to Omid Scobie. There you go in a nutshell. To me, that makes the most sense. He's also denied that he's friends with Meghan, although he did admit in his book he gave her a huge hug when they finished their royal duties, and that she personally phone called Omid Scobie when he was getting attacked, and they shared how they were facing unconscious bias and racist attitudes in the media. Again, I believe that they are acquaintances, maybe not besties, but I do know he is their unofficial official mouthpiece. It has been proven time and time again. And if you add in the Marcus Anderson connection, to me it is just too obvious that this is where he's getting his info from. But in my opinion, Harry and Meghan are fighting a battle against themselves, and they're not winning. They're throwing all these attacks at the royal family, but it is bouncing back off the royal family onto them, and it's making them look very, very petty and very, very sad. We all know that the negativity train just keeps on a-going, keeps on a-moving, and people are like, when are you going to stop? When is the trashing of the royal family going to stop? Well, a new article has come out that says that all of the attacks that they are throwing at Catherine and William and the royal family, it's not going to stick. It is now a battle of class versus brass, and that it's not going to damage the full of grace Princess Kate. And it comes down to TMI, too much information. Let's be real here. When Harry released his book Spare and told everyone about his frozen todger and how he thinks of his mom when he applies Elizabeth Arden cream, was that something we needed to know? Was that helping anyone's opinion of Prince Harry? Or here's another one when he got really high on hallucinogen mushrooms at Courtney Cox's house, and he talked to singing toilets. Or that Meghan Markle channels messages from his dead mom, Princess Diana, and that she's magical and sings to seals. Or here's my favorite, that Meghan Markle can take a crap in the woods. These are things we don't need to know. It's called TMI. I don't need to know that Meghan Markle can drop a deuce outside. Sweetheart, you got 16 toilets in your house. Use them. So the thing about being a royal that separates you from normal folk and from celebrities is that you're regal, that you're kind of put on a pedestal, that there's a mystery, there's a mystique about you, that when you're out in public, you look princely, you look like a princess, you look like a royal, you conduct yourself with class and decorum, and you are there to represent the UK and to represent the charity that you are highlighting with class and grace and dignity. You are not there to be Kim Kardashian shaking your tail feather at the Beyonce concert going, We don't need to see that in our future royals. We don't need to see it in our future queen, okay? We don't need to see it. We don't need to see you promoting yourself and a product, trying to be an influencer. You are a royal. Your job is to look good, to represent the UK, to highlight charities, and to live a life of service. You are not a political figure. You're not a Kardashian. You're not a movie star. You're not an influencer. I don't know what people want from Catherine. People call her a Stepford wife. Okay, be a Stepford wife. You look beautiful. All I want from Catherine is her to show up with beautiful hair, a beautiful wardrobe, act classy, represent the UK well, raise your 3 children and your future king of a son well, represent the UK, and highlight charities. That's it. That is what a royal does. So when people say she's a Stepford wife and she doesn't do anything, she's doing the job as a royal princess, and she does it well. She's beautiful, she's classy, she has never put a foot wrong, and that is what people need of a future queen. That is what people need of a future mother of a king. This is what a royal does. It is not about them. It is about the life of service and the charity and the countries they represent. So Omid Scobie saying that Kate's Katie Keene, okay, call her Katie Keene. She's done a fabulous job. You cannot say that Catherine has done anything wrong or put a foot wrong since she married Prince William. She has been a perfect role model of a future queen. She's beautiful, she's elegant, she's kind, she's regal, and she has that royal mystique. Then you go look at Meghan Markle, the showgirl who likes to walk around barefoot with ripped jeans, doing avocado toast and warrior poses and taking a crap in the woods and shaking her butt at, Beyonce concerts. Okay, who's always on TV talking about herself and how she channels Princess Diana, and the story of how they had a locket of Diana's hair by their bedside while they were making Prince Archie. I mean, ew, there are certain things you should just keep to yourself. I don't think all of this TMI information that Harry and Meghan have spewed for the past 3 years has helped their reputation. As a matter of fact, it's too much information. So now that all these people are saying these things about Catherine, because we've never seen any evidence of Catherine and William doing these things, these rumors bounce off of them, and people instead look at their actions, look at their history, and they focus on that versus vicious accusations and rumors. However, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have proven themselves to be narcissistic liars. They have been proven to lie in courts of law. They have at least 13 lawsuits in the past 5 years. That's a lot of lawsuits, guys. Again, Harry and Meghan share way too much information that's not good information. And there's been many, many sources that have aired their dirty laundry out to the public. So if anything, Harry and Meghan have not learned in their quest to become superstars and to outshine the royal family, have failed miserably. And when I've mentioned before that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle thought they had that Diana magic, are now realizing they don't have anything. People don't want to hear about their bathroom habits, their drug habits, their bedroom habits, the fact that Harry thinks that Meghan, talks to his dead mother, all of the lies and hypocrisies that they constantly spew. Then you look at the royal family and you just see them performing their royal duties. So it's like you can't weigh one against the other because one is always going to fail. So now people are realizing that Harry and Meghan are desperate, they're liars, they're hypocrites, and people are no longer standing with Harry and Meghan. All of the celebrities, all of the major stars are super radio silent when it comes to Harry and Meghan. And a rumor has come out now that Meghan's team is exasperated with Meghan Markle. This book has done Meghan Markle and Prince Harry no favors, especially when it comes to Meghan Markle's reputation and her likability with brands. Again, she is signed with WME 6 months ago, and nothing has come out. So again, I believe that Harry and Meghan are their own worst enemies, and they are suffering from the downfall of TMI. You have the royal family who is full of grace and class and a life of service. Then you have fame-hungry Meghan Markle and revenge-hungry Prince Harry slinging mud at the royal family, and they just look very crass and brass, and people are getting sick of the toxic negativity. So in my opinion, Harry and Meghan are really battling themselves, and this book, Endgame, has done them no favors. And the fact they are not separating themselves from this book, in my opinion, is going to be their ultimate downfall. So Harry and Meghan really need to speak out publicly and say, we do not support Omid Scobie. We do not support the accusations in this book, and they should make a huge effort to make up with the royal family, because if they continue doing the mud slinging, they are going to lose. Well, guys, that is all the royal news that I have for you today. What do you think of today's topics? Leave me your comments, guys, down below. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye, guys.